Yo, what is going on, guys? I'm your resident time god Xeno, and a new Marvel fighting game was just shown to us yesterday called Marvel Tōkon Fighting Souls. As a personal fan of the Versus series for almost like half of my life at this point.
Wait, no, that's fucking Order Soul! You get the hell out of there!
I could not have been happier to live in a world where a Marvel fighting game was actually in active development, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. But calming down just a little bit, 2026 is close, but it's still kind of far away from me. So, like any sane person would have done, I decided to go back and look at every single pixel of this trailer to try and find out details in the background that you might have missed, and some potentially even confirmed characters that might be coming to the game later down the line. We get our first official look at the streets of NYC, and this New York is just jam-packed full of Easter eggs across the Marvel Universe. We see glimpses in the far back to famous landmarks such as the Baxter Building, which of course is the home of the very famous Fantastic Four. And with the release of the Fantastic Four movie here soon, it makes you wonder if we're actually gonna get Marvel's first family in this game, as it is marketed as the first 4v4 fighter. Fisk's building, as well as Oscorp and Avengers Tower, all fill the city skylines, as well as other nods to Marvel characters like Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, with their own fashion building and ads we can see throughout the trailer. The Omega Theater across the street from Janet Van Dyne's building is housing daily showings of Dazzler's Disco Show. Dazzler, of course, being a fan favorite character amongst the Marvel fans, also known for being able to transform and manipulate sound into light, which is why she's so synonymous with music and performs. With how this game has been described, there is a very solid chance she makes it into the running as well, and honestly, I'm all for it. Marvel Rivals fans will also notice right next door, the Hellfire Club building is also in view. The Hellfire Club being a place where very wealthy and high-ranking people of the world meet in order to use their statuses to change the world and their own personal gain, that kind of yada yada villain stuff. But this group has often had run-ins with the X-Men, and with one of their more prominent members actually being Emma Frost, who of course we recently got in season 2 of Rivals. Having a look right next door, we also see that the Daily Bugle has a new look, using the torch that the Statue of Liberty wields as its logo. On its screen, you can make out headlines like how the heroes were able to take down Gargantos, which we see later on in this trailer. He used to be known as Shumagorath in the MVC franchise, however, due to copyright issues over the years, he had to be renamed in modern media, which is the same reason why in Doctor Strange, he had to be called Gargantos instead of Shumagorath as well. It's also kind of hard to make out, but you can quickly see a headline mentioning Kree and the Skrulls. The Skrulls being the alien race most popular known for the character Super Skrull, who eventually gains the powers of the Fantastic Four. He also showed up originally in Marvel vs. Capcom 3 as a fighter, so I'm not sure if they're gonna bring him back, as they have mentioned they want new fighters in this game, but can't count him out. Taxis crash across the street show a musical for Archon. Archon being a very old Marvel Comics hero that I had to Google to figure out who he was. I'm not really sure if it's meant to tease him in any way, however, reading up on his history, he has had ties with the Scarlet Witch, which is another Scarlet Witch reference, which there will be another one here soon. Luna Snow actually gets teased with posters showing presumably a performance she's having at the same theater Dazzler is in. We do get a better look at this later on in the trailer, where she is cloaked in shadow, so there may be a strong case for her appearance. She's currently a newcomer in the hero shooter Marvel Rivals, so maybe Marvel Games had a common character interest during both of these games' developments. Poles on the street are covered with Spider-Man stickers that are crossed out, calling him a menace. We do get to see JJ on the screens like traditional Marvel vs. Capcom games, so it's likely one of his followers who decided to exit out. And if we look just a little bit lower, we do actually see a No More Mutants tag on it. No More Mutants being the famous line, of course, said by Scarlet Witch during the events of the House of M storyline, making that another Scarlet Witch reference, and I think I'm starting to see the little breadcrumbs the devs leave to get her in. One of the surprising stickers that I saw on this is actually Lockjaw getting his own set of stickers on the pole. Lockjaw being the famous pet to the royal family of Inhumans, so we might not only get Lockjaw as a playable character for those like weirdo type characters, we might also get the Inhumans like Medusa, or at the very least, the most obvious one, Black Bolt. This one might be a little bit of a reach, but I literally went through every single thing that I could, so I'm including it here just in case I get it right. On the Jumbotrons in the city, we see even more hints to this world as we see an advertisement flash for something called Circle, and I think that this is the group in the comics who call themselves Circle. They first appeared in Iron Man Volume number 5 and are a group created to protect the fictional country known as Symkaria from the likes of Latveria and of course Doctor Doom, who we know is in this game and of course just looks fantastic.
Say that again?
As the wall breaks, we transition into another part of the stage. We see a Norman for President poster splattered across the wall. Norman in the comics does at one point become the president and lead the Dark Avengers, so possibly they're leading towards that story as well. Norman Osborn, of course, being one of Marvel's most famous villains, as well as Spider-Man's most famous villain in The Green Goblin. I have an absolutely enormous bias towards Spider-Man. My friends can tell you this, so I would love nothing more than to have as many Spider-Man character reps in this game as I could possibly get. An advertisement for Coca-Cola can be seen on the screen, and obviously it's a nod to the original Marvel Comics logo, but being a little bit of a nerd here for a second, it can also be interpreted as a reference to Superior Spider-Man number 29, where the Coca-Cola bottling plant is name-dropped as a location where Otto once saved hostages from a massacre while in Peter's body during the Superior Spider-Man arc. We are then greeted with a beautiful statue of Earth's mightiest heroes, those being Cap, Iron Man, and Thor, all in their original costumes from the comics, and I am just hoping and praying to these devs, to Arcsys, please let those alternate costumes be actual playable things in the game. I want a classic Iron Man, I want classic everybody costumes, I want original comics costumes, the current costumes that they have, and then maybe even more alternate costumes. There is a money printer right there, they just need to take it. To the right, we can also see ads for the Avengers Museum, and behind that, there's actually the iconic S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier. S.H.I.E.L.D. being the secret force in the Marvel Comics that's usually responsible for helping out on any larger scale superhero-related issues. Just below that, we can also see that they are covering the Kree and Skrull War as a special exhibit. The Skrull War was an event in the comics where Skrulls invaded Earth and masked themselves as our Marvel heroes, and even the readers were tested to truly figure out who was a friend and who was a foe. We screen transition once again, and we get a glimpse at Fogwell's gym being covered up in some posters and stickers we saw from earlier, but we also get a look at a symbol left by the Hand. The Hand is a group in the comics who are actually a ninja clan and most famously known to be associated with the Marvel hero, Daredevil. And look, I get it, right? I saw him, you saw him, we saw him. I can't mention Daredevil without mentioning the fact that Murdock and Nelson is actually a building on this stage, and we have an actual cameo from Matt Murdock himself looking at the fight as it's going on. Damage Control has the area under lockdown after our heroes had defeated Gargantos and have slowly begun to transport him away. Damage Control being an organization in the comics that was once owned by both Tony Stark and Wilson Fisk, two characters that we know have been shown or name dropped, so perhaps in this universe they still co-own the company. They specialize in cleaning up and repairing the city after fights with superheroes and supervillains leave the city absolutely fucked up. And with that, that is all the details I could find on my first initial viewings of this trailer. I intentionally didn't mention anything gameplay wise, as I eventually want to go back and do another version of this video, but breaking down the actual fighting game mechanics that I spotted in this trailer. I'm still in absolute shock that this game even exists, and honestly, I am so fucking happy that I get to eventually see where this goes. If you enjoyed your time here, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel to let me know that you want more coverage of this game in the future. I want to try to get into the Arcsystemworks creator program one day to hopefully play this game as early as I possibly can. So this year is going to be the content grind for sure. But as always, this is Xeno, your residential time god, signing off. Also, if this video gets like, I don't know, like 100 or 200 likes, I might make a fan roster of characters that I want in this game based off of like my own personal like knowledge of how game industry works and shit like that, and how like a roster like this probably would want to go down. So yeah, you know, like I guess hit that, click that like button and subscribe, you know. Bye. Also, give me more Spider-Man.